My New Face is the origin point of masks, but it is not simply an origin story. This chapter teaches us how to listen to the entire album. It introduces the rules of the world. Oaths matter, masks witness, faces can lie, and betrayal does not end when the traitor walks away. It survives. It leaves evidence. And in this story, it leaves a face. The most important line in the song may be, "A face can learn to lie, and a mask remembers bone." That line explains almost everything. This chapter is not about a hero choosing a symbol. It is about a child surviving betrayal and inheriting the face of the man who betrayed his entire world. Section 1. The command that fails. The song opens like a broken emergency order. Hold the chain. Hold the gate. Hold the line. Too late. These are not abstract commands. The harbor chain was supposed to protect Brinegate. The gate was supposed to keep the killers out. The line was supposed to separate home from slaughter, but the final words are too late. So before we know names, before we understand the laws of the coast, before we know what the mask means, we know the central wound. Something sacred was trusted to hold. It did not. That clipped rhythm matters too. 4 short commands, then collapse. The song begins with duty breaking. Section 2. The 2 moons as witnesses. Then the song gives us Ember and Eidolon. Ember rose red over harbor smoke. Eidolon watched with a dead blue eye. These moons are not just fantasy decoration. Ember is red, blood-like, tied to fire, memory, survival, and violence. Eidolon is pale and ghostly, tied to masks, spirits, judgment, and the dead. So the massacre of Brinegate happens under 2 witnesses. 1 moon sees the blood. 1 moon sees the face. That matters because Masks is a story about witnessed truth. Oaths are not private wishes. They are made before witnesses, and this world itself seems to be watching. Section 3. Brinegate before the fall. The song briefly shows Brinegate as a living community. All the harbor made a ring round the lantern stone, salt on sleeve and smoke on skin. No one stood alone. This is one of the most important emotional choices in the chapter. Brinegate is not introduced as a strategic harbor or a place on a map. It is introduced as a circle of people. The harbor gathers. The people witness together. No one stood alone. That makes the betrayal worse. This is not merely a military failure. It is the destruction of a people who trusted one another to survive together. Section 4. The Oathsworn and Revelation. Then we meet the trusted figure. He climbed the stone in his witness mask. Oathsworn, trusted, grave. He is not a stranger. He is not an obvious villain. He is the one the town depends on. The one they called when roofs caught fire. The one they trusted to stay. That line is devastating because it defines who he was supposed to be. He was associated with rescue, with danger, with staying when others might run. That is exactly why his betrayal cuts so deep. He does not merely fail a job, he violates the identity the town trusted him with. Then comes revelation. Then he lifted both his hands. The whole town saw his face. He made his revelation. Even the tide held place. This is one of the central laws of the world. The mask does not make the oath. The mask witnesses the oath. The oath is made when the oathsworn removes the mask, shows the living face beneath it, and binds the true self to the vow. Revelation is supposed to make lying impossible. You are not swearing from behind a symbol anymore. You are swearing as yourself. But this chapter reveals the terrible flaw. But a face can learn to lie, and a mask remembers bone. The living face was supposed to be truer than the mask, but the face lied. The mask remembered. Section 5. The mask is character design and prophecy. The song carefully describes the witness mask. Blackwood carved from a drowned old mast, salt white through the grain. Red thread tied behind the jaw, bone pegs at the temples. This is not random costume detail. The mask is made from wreckage, salt, thread, and bone. It already feels like something salvaged from death. Then we get the expression of the mask. The mouth was cut in a patient curve, not mercy, not a grin. One eye narrow as first light, one split where dark got in. That patient curve refuses easy emotion. It is not mercy. It is not joy. It is waiting. Section 6. The betrayal. The attack is described with terrible restraint. Night came red on the waterline. No bell, no gun, no cry. Black sails slid through the reef mouth under a trader's light. The absence matters. No warning bell, no gunshot, no cry. Brinegate is not defeated in open battle. It is opened from within. Then the actual betrayal is revealed. The harbor chain went link by link down into the foam. The false fire bloomed on eastern stone and guided murder home. That is the crime. The chain is lowered. The false light guides the killers in. Now the opening command becomes painfully literal. Hold the chain was not just symbolic. The person sworn to protect the harbor helped turn the harbor into a trap. Section 7. The child witness. The most painful part of the song is not the attack itself. It is the child surviving it. I was small enough for bilge dark, small enough for prayer, small enough to breathe through cracks while smoke ate all the air. This is important. The survivor lives because he is small, not because he is powerful. His later identity as hunter, judge, ghost, and warning begins in helplessness. He is hidden. He is choking. He is listening. Then comes one of the most haunting lines. I heard my mother call my name, then the sea took up the tune. The song does not describe her death directly. It lets her voice vanish into the sea. That is stronger than spelling it out. The sea becomes the keeper of the last sound of home. Section 8. The missing name. There is another crucial detail here. The child's name is heard by him, but not given to us. I heard my mother call my name. The listener knows a name existed, but the song withholds it. That matters deeply. This album is about faces, masks, identity, vows, and what survives after betrayal. By refusing to give the survivor's name in Chapter 1, the story lets us feel what has happened to him. His personal name has been buried under the mask. His identity is not introduced as a name. It is introduced as a wound. The name exists somewhere inside the memory of his mother's voice, but the listener does not get access to it yet. That absence should stay important. The album is not only asking, who is he hunting? It is also asking, who was he before the mask? Section 9. Dawn in the ruined face. After the massacre, dawn does not bring safety. It brings evidence. Dawn came gray and hollow. No chimney knew its place. The tide had chewed the market clean and left no whole face. That phrase, no whole face, matters because the chapter is obsessed with faces, masks, and identity. The town itself has been defaced. Then the child finds the mask. I found it where the pier posts burned, face down in ash and foam. The traitor leaves his mask behind. That is incredibly important. He broke his revelation while barefaced, but the mask remains. The mask becomes the surviving witness. It is evidence. It is relic. It is wound. It is inheritance. Section 10. Why he wears it. This is the emotional turn. That was the face he left behind. That was the face that stayed. That was the law with a cracked out eye. That was the debt unpaid. The survivor does not put on the mask because it looks frightening. He puts it on because it is the only piece of law that survived. Everything else failed. The chain failed. The gate failed. The oath sworn failed. The town burned. His family died. But the mask remained. Then comes the true origin. I knew that mask before my skin. I knew it more than me. I wore what should have drowned that dawn and let my own face leave. This is the birth of the masked hunter. But it is not empowerment. It is trauma becoming identity. He does not simply wear a mask. He lets his own face leave. Section 11. Ember Wounds. Eidolon teaches sight. The final movement explains what the moons did to him. Ember made the wound in me. Eidolon taught it sight. Ember gives him the wound, fire, blood, survival. Eidolon gives the wound vision, masks, spirits, judgment, and the dead. That means his mission is not clean justice. It is grief that has learned how to see broken oaths everywhere. Now every oath that breaks its face comes walking through my night. That line explains why the rest of the album happens. Every false revealed oath calls to him because he is still living inside the first broken revelation. Section 12. Final meaning of the chorus. The chorus repeats. He swore by the face he showed. He swore by the blood and bay. Hold the chain till morning. Hold the killers away. Each time it returns, it means something heavier. First, it sounds like a vow. Then, it becomes a memory. Then, it becomes an accusation. By the end, it is the sentence the survivor has been living inside, and the final lines return us to the beginning. Hold the chain. Hold the gate. Hold the line. Too late. The song ends where it began because the survivor is trapped in the moment the line failed. That is why the title is My New Face. Not because he found who he was, because the world took his face and the betrayer's mask was the only face left. Closing. Chapter 1 does three things at once. It builds the world of masks. It defines revelation. It explains the wound at the center of the story. But most importantly, it establishes the central tragedy. The mask the survivor wears was not made for him. It belonged to the man who betrayed everything. He becomes the keeper of a broken oath because no one else survived to remember it. That is why the final meaning of the chapter is simple. The face lied, the town died, the mask remembered, and the child became the memory.